Okay, so I'm back at East Lomond, just behind me there. Back at East Lomond, this is where I've done the Machu Picchu run, which was 3,000 metres of elevation. So I've just hit, I've actually just done four times up and down, and that's just over Ben Nevis once, so that's 2 hours on the dot, equivalent of going up and down the Ben. So I'm pretty happy with that. If I can sustain that pace on the Ben Neveresting challenge, I'll be pretty happy with that. But what I'm going to talk about today is just some of the difficulties I'm experiencing through this training period for this challenge. Hopefully that will help some of you out there with your own running challenges or your own endurance challenges or even just life challenges as well. You know, so I've had to buy a new set of these toe spacers. These are the Correct Toes. Okay, not sponsored by Correct Toes, but these are really good for my bunion. They push the big toe into alignment. So I'm having to change shoes here now because although these are actually reasonably wide, they have got quite a wide toe box for my feet, wide enough for my feet definitely. But this is a very steep hill, and coming down, my toes are actually getting crushed a little bit, the sides into the corners because of the steepness coming down. So I went for a wider toe box. Now, these are not as wide as Ultras, which are my favourites, but Ultras do not have the same grip as Innovates for this kind of terrain. There's been a lot of rain lately, so I'm having to stop. I wasn't planning on stopping here, but I'm having to stop. I suppose when I come down Ben Nevis each time, I probably will stop and have a break, have some food and stuff. I'm going to try these instead and see if hopefully these are a bit better, because I have got a bruise on my right big toe. I don't want to lose that toenail, and I have got a bit of a funky left pinky toenail as well. So there we go, there's a couple of challenges we're having to overcome just now. A lot of runners will just push through these problems and not try and work around them, but long-term health is always my priority. Now these are a zero drop as well, a little bit much on the cushioning for my liking, but I can still maintain proper form. So there we go, I'm going back up now. That's about just over a 2-minute break, so off we go. The plan today is to get to base camp at 5,300 odd metres. So that's about, I think it's about 13 or 14 times up here, as opposed to the 7 or 8 I done for the Machu Picchu a few months back. So this time a little bit harder on the ascents, kind of zone 3. Treating this almost a bit like a big race. It's just keeping moving, really building up that aerobic system now. The base is definitely there, and these stairs are giving me a hard workout today. So yeah, Everest base camp today. I've only got just over a month now till the actual Ben Nevis day, so it's going to be probably one of the biggest training runs I'll do. The old man again. It's the old man again. Yes, again, he comes down here every day. Inspirational stuff. Morning, how you doing? Aye, brilliant, man. Okay, that's number 6 in the bag. I'm feeling good actually, I'm strong. I wanted to get up into the big mountains, but statistically, okay, difficulties, injuries and niggles. So right now, I mean, expected after going for 3 hours up and down a hill, you're going to be experiencing a few aches and pains, most likely. So left Achilles calf complex is feels a bit tight, no pain, but tightness in there, so keeping an eye on that. And what I'm watching for is make sure it doesn't get any worse. It should hopefully ease off on its own. A lot of times it's in the head, there's a neurological pathway sending signals to the body to protect it. So there's that. And there's a right knee just now as well, just on the outside of the knee. Perhaps some IT band stuff going on there, but only really felt it on the last descent there. So I'll be keeping an eye on the next descent, and if I have to cut it short, I have to cut it short. How I'm managing the injuries: lots of easy days, lots of prehab work. Check out my prehab follow along routine. Lots of glute work, lots of strengthening the smaller muscles, strengthening the calves, strengthening the feet, foam rolling, stretching, massage. My massage therapist has just opened back up, which is great. Staying hydrated. Hydration is important. Good quality. Good quality clean water. Not just when you're running and exercising, but also when you're resting. All the time hydration needs to be up. Nutrition needs to be up high. You need to be getting all the right vitamins, minerals, all the right foods in there. You may need to supplement depending on what your diet looks like. Okay, so I eat 100% plant-based. That's what works for me. That's what works for many runners that I know, many athletes I know. It is a diet that has to be done correctly in order for optimal performance, and it can be done correctly. What else have we got? That'll do for now. I'm going to start going now. It's time for some more hard running. A little bit of raw dark chocolate and some dates. Man, these are some good dates, these. Pure energy, this. This is like Aztec or Mayan warrior energy. Good stuff. What a combination as well. So, the knee felt a lot better that time on the descent. So, just goes to show you sometimes. I was a bit more cautious with my form. I tried to use all the steps coming down as opposed to the hill, so there's less shearing force on the IT band where it crosses over the knee. That's the thing with these injuries and niggles, is the trick is to work around them. That was my alarm, just telling me to sign up for the Scottish Hill Running East District Championship race. So yesterday I signed up to Scottish Athletics. Today I'm going to sign up to the race. I'm going to have to pause, probably stop at the top here, sign up for the race, because it opens at 12 o'clock today. And that's a championship hill race for Edinburgh, so hope that goes ahead. I really miss doing races, so much fun. That's it, done. Starting to feel it a bit now. And this is a key point in the training, actually, is to reach a point of wanting to stop and give up, and then pushing on through that. So, rolled my ankle back on the. If you go back to the first video, went up Largo Law a few times, 7 times up there. That was about 2,000 metres, I think, or thereabouts. It was meant to be Ben Nevis, but I'd done a bit more. Rolled my ankle there, and it took a good few months to fully recover from that. I'm still, fully recovered in terms of it hasn't been sore, it hasn't been bothering me, but the weakness that ensues after an ankle roll is a pernicious little fellow. It'll come back, and your ankle will roll again and again and again. I just realised I was meant to grab a banana there, but I'll be alright till the next one. So the ankle roll, been having to do a lot of balance work, proprioception work, but sometimes these injuries and niggles are good things. They tell us where we need work, and then it's up to us whether we work through that and move on, or we give up. The other thing I had was adductor and lower abdominal tendinopathy. Quite mild, but from mostly running down steep hills and overstretching the the lower abs, overworking the adductors. So I've been doing a lot of prehab and rehab work on them. So all these little things. Now, when an injury like this or a niggle doesn't stop you from running, then that's okay. You know, that's okay. That's just signs as to where you need to work and be very cautious moving forward. Maybe ease back, but still keep progressing. When an injury stops you from running, that's when you've went really wrong. That's when you've went badly wrong by either overtraining or not doing the appropriate strength work or not recovering properly. Combination of all of these, or a trauma injury by just trying to tackle stuff that you're not skilled enough for, not focusing on the trails, being distracted. Could blame that the ankle on that as well, actually, a little bit, but I think it was to do with a bit of strength as well there. I wasn't doing as much plyometrics, proprioception work before that. Okay, so there you go, there's a bit of a rant on niggles. Now so it's 4 hours, 3,000 metres, so Machu Picchu again, and I feel more tired this time, but I have been pushing harder, significantly harder. I think it took me 4 hours 45 to do Machu Picchu the last time, so that's 45 minutes quicker, and we just got to keep on going. Fancy an apple this time. It's a good idea to have a variety of foods. Hydrating fruit, nice. Okay, it's getting tough now. So I've learned that this pace is probably unsustainable. So on the day, I'm going to have to take it a bit easier. Nice horses. I made the film here for some reason, I don't know why. Anyway, okay, back to the struggles. Another thing I've really been struggling with lately, and I've done a video on this, self-doubt. Done a video on this a couple of weeks back. Self-doubt, excuses, lack of motivation, these are all normal things to experience. That's why it's important to have good habits and discipline to overcome this. But even this morning, getting out of bed wasn't that easy, man. It really wasn't. Interesting how the mind works. It makes up excuses, and some of these excuses are justified, like injuries, perhaps genuine fatigue. Sometimes energy management comes into play. So everybody talks about time management, but actually you should be focusing more on energy management. Where's your energy going? So in order to do this kind of stuff, it uses a lot of energy, a lot of physical energy, but a lot of mental energy as well. So if you're working, if you've got other things going on, you know, like dogs with injuries, wives with injuries, you've got your own shit going on, whatever, it can make it very difficult. And then that can actually be, sometimes it can be an excuse which is not justified, and sometimes it can be an excuse which is. But having systems in place to manage your energy so that you're resting appropriately, you're not overworking, you're working smart, not working hard, you're doing the right things, not just doing things, you know. These steps are getting harder each time. They're getting harder. 3,500 metres, 2,000 to go. I failed and it's now snowing again. I didn't make it to base camp. Stopped at just over 4,000 metres. I think that's like 11, 12 times. By the end there I was just, the body was starting to give in. Lessons learnt. Started off way too fast. Oh yeah, they're feeling it like. Why did I stop? Why did I give up? Could I have kept going? Yes. Did my mind give in before my body? Many times. Many times. But in the end, I decided to go for the logical option. My form was starting to break down. The risk of injury was becoming high. There was no point in pushing through much further than that. It's half Everest. I got to the halfway point. I'm happy with that. I'm going to get in the car now because it's actually belting down. Just changed my clothes. Oh, that's enough squatting for now. We'll do some more squatting later on. Let me just get in. Whoa, man. Whoa, get the size of these hailstones. Whoa. Ha. Oh, right, okay, so there we go. That's that. That's what training's for, guys. Training is for testing your limits and trying things out. I set off way too fast there, and I had a feeling that I maybe did that. But it's a really good training effect. And it's a lesson learnt for Ben Nevis. Just take it a bit easier, Chris. Take it a bit easier. Nutrition wise, yeah, I'm fairly happy with the nutrition. Hydration, I don't think I drank enough. I'm really craving some orange juice right now, some real good fresh orange juice. Yeah, so there we go. What did I want to talk about in this video? The struggles. Well, we've ended it in a good way. Here's a struggle. Sometimes you fail, okay? But failure is part of the process. You take the lessons you learned from that failure and you apply principles and put things in place that will help you succeed in the future. The main goal is Everest on Ben Nevis. Will I fail there? Maybe. Let's see how it goes.